Hey, former President Obama has apparently come and saved the day and all bring us all back, meaning us black men, back to the Democratic plantation or Democratic Party. Recently, President Obama was in Pittsburgh, I think, at a conference or at a campaign or something that the Democrats sent him out. Clearly, because the Harris Waltz campaign has been drowning, at least in the last couple of weeks, not only from their own doing, but from debates, from VP Harris going on other platforms to kind of clear other things up, from Candace Owens really putting a hole into the whole Harris Waltz campaign with the stuff she's saying about Harris's family, about her actually not being black and having the receipts and death certificates, marriage certificates, and all this stuff. And so what do they do now? They bring out Massa. They bring out Superman. They bring out our beloved, my president is black, Barack Obama. And honestly, if this was 6, 7, 8 years ago, at that may have worked. Maybe it would not got the response that it did. But my video is really not working now, so I would show like a video on the side of me right now. So I'm probably just gonna play some of the audio. But if you haven't seen it or heard it, President Obama was in a room. It was staged. You can tell. This wasn't anything sporadic. This was staged. Had other black men in the room and stuff like that. Probably black men that we know were probably voting for Kamala or whatever anyway. So this wasn't even a real conversation to have probably with those in that room. So he knew everything was going to be on camera. So he knew it was going to be casted out there to the world. So this was basically for those of us, or for people like myself that aren't fooled by the Democrats and all the stuff they've been pushing for decades and decades to our people. So they brought him in. And so now what he wanted it to do, I believe, was just to kind of get people mind to take that switch, right? To think about your skin color, to think about grandma and them. You know what I'm saying? Think about the experience or whatever we have. And so, but he doesn't give the credit to the people that actually have their own mind, that have actually been living in our own experiences, not only just the black experience, but just the American experience over the last 3 or 4 years. And that experience has not been good, to say the least. It just has not been good. And so for him to come out and bring that whip out, so to speak, and kind of tell black men whether not only black men that are going to be voting or prospective voters, but also for my co-host Rag. If y'all listen to the last pod, he's not a voter. He's not going to vote. But he was even talking to those people. You thinking about sitting this one out. You thinking about not voting at all or voting for Trump. Don't do it. And this is the reason why. It was pretty wild in 2024 to have him do that. And that this is a whole different other time than what 2008. This is not 2008. This is not 2012. Everybody in their mama voted for Obama in '08. I don't think anything was going to stop him at that point in time from getting into the office. From McCain, the mishaps they had, and it just looked like a redneck, respectfully to McCain, but then this is like the savior, the guy. He's not black, but he's melanin. He has the speech, he has the color, he has the beautiful family, he had the 2 little kids, the yes we can, all that stuff. It was just a crazy storm, a combination of everything that I think he had historical voting turnout, especially from our community. It just wasn't gonna happen. He just wasn't gonna lose that. And so people really started to get a sniff of Obama probably around 2010, 2011, halfway through his first term, and you kind of saw what he was kind of trying to do or not do at that. The biggest thing Obama ever did in his 8 years that he was in there had nothing to do with us, had nothing to do with black people. It had everything to do with the LGBTQ, the alphabet community. And so that's his legacy that he left behind. It had nothing to do with us. As much as black people cape for him and everything else, you would think that he did something dramatic or crazy for us other than give us an image to run with. Look on TV like, oh, that's my cool uncle. Rah, rah, rah. Let's go. I want to have dinner with him. I want to have a beer with him. But just like I was saying on the pod before, if Obama saw any of you niggas coming up to his house or to his table or anywhere that you're not allowed, like, you're going to get shot. You know what I mean? Like, the Secret Service ain't playing them games. So I just hate when people get too personal with these candidates and act like, you know, that's what it's about. And so that's what they want us to do. They want us to get enamored with their image, with their personality, you know, with their skin color. You know, so I just think the whole speech that he gave to the black men out there was like, it was crazy. It was dumb. It was ignorant, you know, because it's almost like he doesn't expect us to have a mind of our own. He doesn't expect us to look at things without looking at race, without looking at identity politics. You know, we should vote for Kamala Harris because she's black, because she's a black woman, you know. So all these narratives, it doesn't fly in 2024. In 2008, with the way the world was at that time, it is very possible, or it's not even possible, it would have happened. Like, but we've seen a lot of firsts already with him being the black president. Another first with having the first quote unquote black woman vice president, and stuff like that. So the celebration of all those things are right there. They're high, but then you got to live life. But then you got to have an actual experience of what's been going on. And so when you have that experience, it's like, man, forget this whole, you know, voting for somebody because they're black, voting for somebody because she's an AKA, voting for somebody because she knows how to cook collard greens in a bathtub. Stuff like that. Like, it's pretty wild. But the good thing about this is that a lot more people wasn't buying it than I originally thought that would. Like, even Roland Martin came out and said something kind of negative about Obama and the way he addressed black men. You know what I mean? Like, it was not on cue. And actually, it wasn't Obama. You know what I mean? We know Obama to say the right thing at the right time and be smooth with it. You know what I mean? But that wasn't that, what he did with those black men in that room in Pittsburgh. I'm about to play some of that now for those that haven't heard, and just sit and just listen for a minute.
Go ahead and just speak some truths, if you don't mind. Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running. Now, I also want to say that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly and say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you, understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences, who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land, and is putting forward concrete things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got health care and cares about things like education.
Okay, all right. I think I've heard enough. I don't know how long I was gonna get on there. Let it go through, but yeah, just using that whole thing, like your experience, your grandmother, your, like, Kamala Harris didn't grow up with the regular black experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, like, oh, just the lies, just the manipulation that comes along with this. And even with Obama was speaking, like, even if you saw him, like, he just sounded like he was spiraling. He was just grabbing. He's just, reaching, you know what I'm saying? Trying to grab them back in. Maybe I can get them with the experience. Maybe I can get them with living in the hood. Maybe I can get them with, getting all these houses. And, like, come on, man. Like, the proof is in the pudding. We know she looks out for people of color, right? But they're the color of the migrants that's been coming over here in droves over the last 3 years. They've given over almost $700 million to them. I put out a video talking about some of that, the $750 that she was proposing to give to the hurricane victims. Like, they've already given hundreds of $1 million to migrants just for coming in here illegally. So when people have the information to their disposal, when they can look up stuff for themselves, when you can go on the FEMA site for yourself and let them say how much they've actually given to migrants, it's not misinformation. It's like it's facts, and it's right there. So when you have all those things, and then also you put into the fact that let's just keep it a buck. Trump is way more masculine. He's a masculine man, right? He is what is pretty much missing here in our whole environment. We can go deeper in that, but a lot of black men, they're just attracted to that alone. Forget the policies, forget all the other stuff. They're just more attracted to Trump as far as him being a more masculine man and him standing on what he said he's going to stand on. You know what I mean? Like all the feminist stuff, the toxic masculinity, stuff like that. Like a lot of people are tired of that. You know what I'm saying? And so now kind of what happened when Trump got in office for the first time in 2016 is almost kind of happening now, where people are just tired of being tired. They're tired of the interest rates going up high. I know our credit card stuff, the interest rates like skyrocketed up. You know what I'm saying? Like we had to do some stuff about that. You know what I'm saying? Come up with a plan, come up with a budget too, because the interest rates were going up high. We know the food was going up high, and we know inflation was going up high. And then on top of that, your pay is not going up with the interest rate, with the inflation. Like people are living this in real time, in real life. So to come and tell somebody differently, like, are gaslighting you, basically telling you that you haven't really been experiencing what you've been experiencing. You're not really seeing or feeling what you've been feeling. It's just really an insult, man. It's just really an insult. And so I'm kind of glad that, some people have kind of been standing up to what he said and not really just kind of really been bowing down and being like, yes, master. Yes, sir. We'll vote for Kamala. We'll be a chameleon. No. We have to be able to think for ourselves. And I think a lot of other people are. Now, at the end of the day, I'm not the one to say that this election is in the bag for Trump. You know what I mean? Because I know the system all too well. I know that things can happen. I know whether that's legal or illegal. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to put anything past the other side or this whole electoral system and how it goes. So what do y'all think, man? Do y'all think that Massa Obama really did a good job in conveying his message to black men? Or do you feel kind of like me, like, look, we see all through the BS. We think for ourselves. We're not into identity politics. We're not into the whole race thing. We're into what's right, what's conservative, and what would be good for me and my family. Until next time, y'all. Salute.